Welcome to Combat Zone with Ben the Bane Davis on Stadium.
Folks, welcome back to the Combat Zone. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis. We've got everything to get into today. Some UFC 316 breakdowns, a conversation with one half of the PFL main event this weekend, Thad Gene, and some interesting tidbits about fights coming up into the future. But before we get into all that, I got to tell you guys about my weekend. So I was at the CrossFit competition known as the NorCal in Sacramento, California. My girlfriend was competing. She came 16th out of 50. So not too great, but not too bad, right? We love being almost in the middle. But I'll say this. I got one piece of criticism for the organizers of the NorCal. Jump ropes, right? Big part of CrossFit, big part of fitness, big part of this event over the weekend. A lot of the different competitions had jump roping in between, whether it was double unders, right? Whether it was single unders, they were just attached. Competitors had prepared for this. Now, unfortunately, due to the heat in Sacramento, the jump ropes were breaking apart as the event continued. Jump ropes were splintering. And so we had to remove them, switched it up, added more wall balls here, added more wall walks here. It just kind of threw a big wrench at things, right? That's what I'm getting at here. And that could be, a tough negative, right? Oh, well, there's nothing we can do. That was all we had. Looks like we needed to change up the competition. But the supplier of the jump ropes they had a booth. They were a vendor. They had a booth 20 feet away from the competition grounds. Why couldn't we just go get some more, right? The winner of the elite division gets $30,000, but you're telling me that we can't go grab our jump ropes so that it all stays fair and we maintain the integrity of this competition? I'm just annoyed by it. Oh, well. Okay, let's get into the big topics. So there was a big shakeup in the 125-pound division. Manel Kape is out. This, I believe, is his 5th UFC pullout, 11th UFC fight cancellation that he was attached to. And Josh Van, who is fresh off a third-round TKO at UFC 316, is stepping in against the number 1 ranked Brandon Royval. Now, this is ridiculous. Van was ranked 14th, I believe, coming into last weekend's festivities. Now he jumps all the way up into a number 1 contender fight. This kid's 23 years old, has an unbelievable power-punching, tight boxing style that I think fans can really get behind, and this frequency in fighting is going to do nothing but build up the fan base and the brand for Van. So I'm all about it, but I will give a bit of criticism on the man who exited that matchup, Starboy. Now, listen, the thing about Manel Kape is he's a very polarizing figure. He said some insane, lunatic things online inside the ring, but he's got a very fun style. Right? At flyweight, he is a problem. But I must give a bit of egg on the face for Manel Kape because he said of Brandon Royval ahead of this fight that, and I quote, 4 weeks for the fight for the place for the belt. The chills, nausea, and panic are already starting to affect on the body of the little puppy Brandon Royval. I won't be surprised if he runs away from this fight. That's a direct quote from Manel Kape. And if you're thinking, Ben, your grammar's not that great, I'm just reading it as is. I don't think Manel's vocabulary or grammar is all that tight. So it's just interesting that you have a guy in Manel who is so quick to accuse others of jumping out of fights, not strong enough to make it to the event. Yet he's the one that, again, at present, has 5 UFC pullouts on his own accord and 11 UFC fights canceled that he was attached to. I just think that is worth mentioning, right? Karma. Everything comes around and goes around. And when you say those things and put that out there, I think the onus is on everybody else to remind you that, hey, pal, can't have your cake and eat it too. You're going to say like that, it's going to get thrown at you when you are the problem in these fights. All right, let's take it to some more bad news. Ben Askren is in critical condition. We all know Ben. We all love him. 44-year-old former Olympian. He was a Bellator 1FC champion, UFC veteran. Apparently, he is unresponsive in the hospital. There isn't much known about the case, but from my knowledge, it was a bout of pneumonia that has now spiraled out of control. So we just want to wish all the best to Ben Askren in his recovery, sending amazing vibes to his family and the doctors that are taking care of him so that we can get Ben back on his feet as quickly as possible. Bit of background on the wrestler. He began wrestling at the age of 6, competed for the Missouri Tigers in college, twice becoming a D1 national champ, was a member of the 2008 U.S. Olympics team, then went into mixed martial arts, went 19-3 with his first ever loss coming to Jorge Masvidal, that 5-second knockout at UFC 239. Amazing career, truly a combat sports icon, and again, wishing the best for his recovery. Okay, couple more things that I want to talk about before we talk with the Silverback Thad team is UFC BJJ. Now, UFC rebranded their Fight Pass Invitationals to what will now be known as UFC BJJ. And they're launching a Ultimate Fighter stylized reality show in the lead up to their first event, which features not only 3 title bouts, indicating that there'll be divisions and structure akin to the mixed martial arts that the UFC does, but it will all be headlined by a Mikey Musumeci main event. If you don't know Mikey Musumeci, right, this kid's a BJJ ace. He is truly fantastic on the canvas, has a very interesting personality. Eats, I think he only eats pizza, which he himself makes in his brick fired oven in his backyard. Interesting guy, but not all is terrific with the UFC BJJ. The competition setting where all of this action will be taking place looks very similar to Karate Combat's and Craig Jones' proprietary pit, which could lead to some legal drama. Now, there hasn't been anything issued yet in the form of a lawsuit or any legal cases, but Craig posted the info on their patents to the pit, which, indicated language like the structure being held up by one wall and one competitor, kind of vague terminology. Listen, I'll tell you what, I don't have a legal degree. I don't have a Juris Doctorate. I can't pretend to know the ins and out of patent law or copyright infringement, but it seems like there could be some grounds for Craig Jones and co. to maybe put a little salt on top of the UFC's wound with this and make this harder to launch their UFC BJJ. But at the same time, right, if you took that to a judge, maybe they would say that it's just different enough that it isn't infringing upon the Craig Jones patent. Because if you do look at what the UFC's got, they sort of have a curved wall around the mat, almost like a bowl, the Octo Bowl is what we can call it. Whereas Craig Jones and Karate Combat, they have the angled, straighter walls, sort of 4 sides surrounding the floor, their pit. So there is some design differences, and someone certainly smarter than me can point out whether or not this is good territory or bad territory for the UFC. But most would probably think either way, this is good. This is good. UFC's getting into jiu-jitsu. They're platforming one of the most heralded and respected combat sports disciplines of all time. I mean, MMA wouldn't be here without jiu-jitsu and the Gracies, right? Well, almost there. I would say that in the broad stroke of promoting BJJ, absolutely. But some people have criticized the UFC's rebranding of FPI and their approach to this BJJ platforming because it feels all too similar to the monopolistic practices, which has caused multiple class action lawsuits to be levied against the UFC, one in which just kicked off a week ago with Phil Davis and his antitrust lawsuit. So people are kind of drawing the parallel that you're doing what you did in MMA to BJJ, and now 15 years after all of those decisions and actions have been cemented in stone, you're getting sued for it on the MMA side. That doesn't make us interested in the BJJ side, right? Craig Jones suggesting again that the UFC is trying to lock up BJJ stars in exclusive contracts, which from his words, right, he's going to lock in all these BJJ athletes into independent contractor status contracts, meaning they don't get any benefits. They're kind of really tied up. And then with the exclusivity, they can't go out and, compete elsewhere, which I would say doesn't sound great. I think we can all agree that maybe if you put it that way and you frame it through the Craig Jones lens, It certainly doesn't sound great. But I will say, BJJ as is was kind of fractured and flawed. You know, if you look at the IBJJF crown, they held their record high prizes of 20 grand for each tournament winner. Abu Dhabi Combat Club, ADCC, probably the most premier jiu-jitsu competition on the planet, only has $10,000 going to division winners and 40 grand to the absolute champion, and also not providing show money. So if you show up there and you lose, thanks for investing money in the airfare and the hotel. You're not getting anything on top of it, right? So I do think that while it's certainly fair and valid to look at the UFC and nitpick and pinpoint and go, oh, this isn't great. This isn't great. I think it's also important to recognize that BJJ was not perfect in any way, shape, or form. And the UFC is in a great position to just come in here and set record high prizes without much of a financial consequence to the company. If they went out there, paid everybody 15 grand a show and then put 50K on the line, then this would be one of the highest paying BJJ tournaments shows ever in their debut event. But again, we shall see what occurs on that front as it develops and UFC BJJ comes closer. But talking about coming closer, it's about time that we step into the booth with one half of the PFL main event this weekend. He is the undefeated Silverback, Thad Gene. Thad, how are you? We have one of the hottest prospects of the PFL, Thad Gene, the Silverback, inside the booth. Thad, how are you, sir?
Yeah, let's go. I'm good. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate you.
Man, before we get into this main event against Jason Jackson, let's
Yep.
uncork that beautiful first round KO of Mukhmad Burkamov. How did this come together? I know that you were an alternate and then got the opportunity to fight in. Walk me through how this came to you.
What specifically came to me, like the knockout or just the fight in general?
Fight in general, yeah.
Okay, so the fight itself, I'm in the beginning of the year. I'm excited to win the tournament since the beginning of the year. I mean, but they had different plans. At first, they put me in as an alternate to go against I forget his name. He actually fought against Sterling the last this previous fight. But they put me in for alternate, and I was like, all right, that's cool, but it doesn't matter. Whoever's going to step up, I'm ready to fight and take on whoever. And last minute they told me, "Hey, you can fight Burkmov," and I was like, "All right, yeah, let's go." I'm excited. Let's go. They put me in a tournament, and I'm like, "Finally, it's my time to shine now." And Burkmov himself, he's a great fighter. Everybody says he has experience. And I was like, "Oh, you got to take that into consideration." I'm like, I take everything into consideration when it comes to any fight. I'm never gonna underestimate an opponent, but I'm never gonna let that downplay what I can show in the cage as well. So I mean, getting that fight was just, I'm ready. I'm finally like a sigh, like let's go. I'm finally here. You know.
Was there anything that surprised you in those 4 minutes against Mukhmad, or was it pretty much, okay, this is about what I thought he was going to bring to me?
Um, I wouldn't say I was surprised. I was a little frustrated because the canvas is a bit slippery. So every time he threw an inside leg kick, it would make my foot lose grip, and it looked like it took more damage than I actually did, and
Mm.
that made me upset. But I was like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna use it to my advantage and let him get comfortable with throwing the inside leg kick, and just inch up closer each second, each inch up closer, inch up closer, inch up closer until I'm in my range. Well, within the range that he doesn't realize I'm in, and then capitalize on it.
We'll tell Don ahead of June 12th that they got to stop putting the stickers on the canvas. Well,
Oh man, hopefully,
um,
hopefully.
I'm curious because you've been in the PFL since January 2023, several years
Yep.
now inside this organization. How have you seen it evolve since you joined? Obviously, it's gone through a couple different big changes.
Honestly, personally, I haven't seen it evolve too much because I've always been on the undercard.
Yeah.
So to see the evolution of the program itself, I would probably have to be more into the main cards and actually within the program itself, lies in like the tournament and things like that. But being on the outside looking in, I've always been waiting for my opportunity. I like that they switched from the point system and then automatically go into you got to win to keep going. I like that part the most because people who won first round and then lost second round, they had the chance to win the tournament, and it was like so on it. Like it's cool that you had a chance to make it to the end at the
Yeah.
same time, but do you deserve to be at the end if you lost the
Exactly.
fight? You know what I mean? So I like this this playoff format much more because it's win or go home.
Yeah. It's simpler.
Win or go
It's
home.
more straightforward.
It's much more straightforward as well. Yeah, much more straightforward. Just win the fight. You don't got to worry about points or anything. Win the fight, get to the next fight, and just keep moving forward until you win the tournament itself.
I love it. Let's talk about that
Yeah,
next one, man. Jason Jackson, one of
yeah.
the, I would say, standouts, right, that's come into this. You got the chance, I believe, to face off with him. When you looked at his eyes, man, what did you see in Jason Jackson?
I see what I see in every other opponent. They have that cockiness to themselves until they realize that, oh man, I'm actually gonna fight this kid, and he's not backing down, and I'm not
Mhm.
backing down from anything. There's a confidence that I have that's rooted in God Himself, God, Jesus Himself, and I'm not afraid of anyone who walks into that cage with me. And I think Jason Jackson understands that. No, I know he understands that. And once we get into the cage June 12th, he's gonna feel it as well. I mean, he's just like every other opponent. He's just like every other man. It's he's just someone I have to get right. I just gotta go past. That's it. I
He
just gotta get through it.
bleeds. He bleeds,
Exactly. He
baby.
bleeds. He's gonna bleed much easier than he thinks he can.
What did you make of his second round submission of Andre Koreshkov? Obviously, Andre, pretty decorated career in his own right in Bellator. Did anything Jason did in that fight impress you, surprise you?
No, honestly, I wasn't impressed with that fight on either side
Mm,
of the cage, on Kurskov's side and on Jason's side, because I mean, if Jason really wanted to have a good standout fight, he should have stayed on the feet. I think he was
yeah,
already handling him on the feet. He took him down, wasted energy to do all that taking down stuff. Did do a illegal back of the head shots, and I feel like Koreshkov after that was just dazed
yeah,
completely. I mean, if you were there, you would see that this man was like, and his coach, of course, with the Russian mentality of we can do this, we're strong, and that's a cool, that's a great mentality. But in the moment, it wasn't so good for him because he had to go into the next round, and he wasn't in the right mindset or just in the right zone. So Jason was able to take him down easily and just, as you see, just choke him out. So I mean, I wasn't really impressed because it was nothing spectacular
yeah.
at all. No, nothing spectacular.
On June 12th, how does your fight with Jason Jackson go? When you envision it, walk me through what you see.
Um, I think complete domination. I feel like I give Jason Jackson a run for his money. I think he doesn't understand that he's too straightforward for me. He's
Mm,
like a children's book for me. He's like a children's book for me. Honestly, I mean, I cannot, like, he does nothing. He keeps himself open. I think right away he's gonna go for the leg kicks and try to take me down. Of course, he's gonna try to take me down. But people don't understand that I only like to strike because I got addicted to knocking people out. I love it. I love that mano a mano. Let's go. Let's get at it. Let's
hmm
do what we got to do. But it's a different game because I started off with grappling, so I'm totally okay with grappling. As you can see in the beginning when Berkmov tried to take me down with that single leg, I only went down purposely because I knew I had a guillotine sunk in. So it was like,
hmm
you can take me down, but if you take me down, it's probably because you're in danger. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if we go to the ground and I get on top, well, and you don't stay on top, and I get to the top, it's going to be a bad day, a bad 5 minutes, however much time is left in the round for you. And if I don't finish you within, then you're going to realize, damn, I probably should stay on the feet. And then if you try to stay on the feet, damn, where am I going to be good at? So complete domination on my side. You know what I mean? So I'm ready for him.
I love it. Well, hey, 9 have tried, 9 have failed. I mean,
Exactly.
that is the beauty of you, Thad Gene.
More from the Silverback Thad Gene coming up next on Combat Zone. Stay tuned. Folks, welcome back to Combat Zone. Ben the Bane Davis here, and it's about time that we dissect UFC 316 because while there was some good on this card, there was also a little bit of bad that we can't ignore. And talking about bad, the main event. And not Marab in any way, shape, or form, but Sean O'Malley. This was the opportunity to come in and show everybody that, hey, the first fight, I had the torn labrum. I wasn't operating at 100%, and that's what led to the decision defeat. But he looked even worse. He looked even worse without the labrum, right? He was fully healed.
he made such effort, and it was such a big part of the narrative coming into this that he was really restructuring his life. Wasn't on social media, wasn't engaging in any extracurriculars, elsewhere in his life. Right, was fully healed from the labrum. This was supposed to be the best version of Sean O'Malley, and the best version of Sean O'Malley got obliterated. One-way traffic, dismantled, absolutely put 6 feet beneath the earth, because Merab just continues to level up. Merab just continues to get better. The way that he has weaponized cardio to an unreal extent, to the point where he is just, wearing out top contenders within 5-7 minutes, is truly remarkable. And he hits a submission that he doesn't even know the name of. If you go to the post-fight press conferences, a reporter asks, what was that called, that you hit Sean with? And he literally went, I don't know. Come on. That's how good this guy is. He's revolutionizing the sport, and he doesn't even know what to call it. Now he's the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I say earned and deserved. I just can't wait to see what's next. I know Dana spoke about a Umar Nurmagomedov fight, but I feel the same way I did about a Sean O'Malley immediate rematch, that there's no point in doing that. I think Umar needs to earn another crack at the belt, needs to show that he has really sharpened his tools and shored up the weaknesses that led to a defeat in the first fight. So I would say, what could be next for Merab? I'm totally unsure. I think that Pantoja versus Merab, right? Alexandre Pantoja getting a double champ opportunity, Merab seeing a face that he hasn't beaten before, and the division gets the chance to figure itself out. I would not hate that. But again, Piotr Jan Marcus McGee, that seems to be something in the works. If Jan is successful, that would be his 3rd straight win in a row over all top 15 opposition. Maybe Piotr could get that rematch at Merab. But again, if you think about that first Merab and Jan fight, it was very uninteresting to watch. 53 takedown attempts, I believe, from Merab. So maybe we shouldn't run that one back. I don't know. But the co-main event, Kayla Harrison, toys with Juliana Pena. This was a beatdown. This was as advertised. Kayla came in here a minus 700 favorite, made the champ look like an amateur soccer mom who had never competed, and now gets a super fight with Amanda Nunes. The Lioness is back, and I'm so pumped up for this one because when you think about women's mixed martial arts, Amanda Nunes paved such a way following Ronda Rousey's departure and was just lighting it up in the bantamweight and featherweight divisions. So for Kayla to get this opportunity to put, her training partner, Amanda Nunes, on her resume is great. And again, it allows the division to produce a number 1 challenger. I'll say this. I saw that Juliana Pena claimed dibs on the winner. She wants the winner of Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison. I think that that's lunacy. I think that that's idiotic. I think that Juliana Pena, who was 50-43, 50-44, 50-45 by Amanda in their trilogy bout, and then dismantled completely by Kayla Harrison in 2 rounds. Why on earth would we give her the winner? Juliana Pena does not deserve the winner at all. I think that Juliana should fight Norma Dumont, who's currently ranked number 4 in the division on a 5-fight win streak, or maybe a Raquel Pennington rematch, right? Raquel, in many people's estimations, did not lose that fight to Juliana. The 3 people ringside just seemingly gave it to her. So maybe run that back. But the worst thing in the world would be a Juliana Pena matchup with whoever wins between Nunes and Kayla Harrison. Let's talk about Patchy Mix. God-awful debut. This was truly disturbing almost, how allergic Patchy was to moving his head, terrible footwork. He's just retreating in a straight line. There's no circling. When he was offensively pressuring, didn't cut off the cage at all. He was outstruck in every single round. But it is curious because the numbers were close, right? 43 strikes landed for Mario in round 1 to 36 for Patchy. 65 strikes for Mario in round 2 to 59 for Patchy. Round 3, it got very separate. 65 strikes for Mario, 27 for Patchy on 119 attempts. That 3rd round, Patchy Mix fell apart. And I truly don't know where you go with Patchy Mix because he talked so much. He said that, Mario Bautista's a journeyman. I'm going to submit him and his entire team. I'm a 3-time champion. And then he looked like he never fought before. He looked like he'd never competed before. So I think we need a big step back for Patchy Mix. Montel Jackson, Davey Grant, Adrian Yanez, maybe C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez, Brady Highstand, or Raul Rosas Jr. Those 6 names, I think we could put up against Patchy Mix next, and it would make sense. It would be a step backwards because he does not deserve a top 15 opponent based on that performance. And for Mario Bautista, he wants a top 5. I'll give it to him. I think he's redeemed. I know we all hated him because of the Jose Aldo fight, but I think he has redeemed himself in a bit of fashion. All right, last couple before we take it back to the OKKOs. Kelvin Gastelum surviving a nuclear airstrike on his chin. I do not know what his head is made out of. Joe Pyfer, you got to learn how to throw something other than just the right hand. Let's mix it up. And lastly, APFC lightweight champion Mark the Shark Choinski was prepping for an APFC welterweight title fight, but accepted this on a week's notice. His UFC debut against Markel Maderos. He ate about 1,000 leg kicks. His calf was cooked. It was done, but he toughed it out and made it to the scorecards, but it didn't go his way. APFC is so proud of Mark Choinski, and I can't wait to see what's next for him. All righty. Couple combat sports highlights that we want to show you. Some big finishes from around the world here on Bally's. Let's take it back to the OKKOs.
OKKO.
Trying to turn up the temperature here, closing stages of this fight.
Henry really talked about letting It's over. Out of nowhere.
Oh, the come from behind win in his BKFC debut. A one-punch knockout finish for Bobby Henry.
What an uppercut. That came out of nowhere.
Mahler said he would be southpaw if he felt McClain was a passive fighter. He lands a very aggressive right hand. Fire in his back goes Brian McClain.
He knew he had to stay outside, use lateral movement. Look, he's just winging shots in his front.
Big swings, big misses from Rick Caruso. Short punches in there, landing from Derek Perez in the clinch. And that is knockdown number 2. In and out from Killy Matoff. Overhand right from Bercier. Could not fully turn. Oh, huge shot from Killy Matoff. That is not a knockdown we fight on.
Killy Matoff just let him go.
25 seconds remaining, round number 1. The end could be near. There is the end. Then jab again, right hand, left hook from Mundell. Mundell on the entry, to duck under into the clinch. Overhand right from Donald Sanchez. Mundell to the body, to the head. And still undisputed PKFC World Middleweight Champion, Dave the Redneck Mundell.
Those were some of the best knockouts from around the world here on Bally's. More coming up. Stay tuned on Combat Zone. Welcome back to the Combat Zone. More from our chat with PFL main eventer Thad Gene. Now, this man is known for his knockouts inside of the cage, but outside of it, Thad's a man of faith. Let's hear from him about how religion has shaped his life.
You mentioned something earlier I want to dig deeper into, your faith, man. Talk to me about how your religion has played into your life and what led you to that in general.
Oh man, thank you for asking that, man. Complete faith. I have a complete faith. Yeah, just so I was telling a lot of people that my favorite verse in the Bible is Isaiah 41 verse 13. It's, I am the Lord your God who takes a hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, for I will help you. And when it comes to that verse, let me just pick it apart for you, and how I see it is that going into the cage against any man it's a scary thing. You never know. Your family's watching you, everyone is watching you, and it's like, I gotta come out on top. As a man, you want to come out on top. As a competitor, forget as a man, as a competitor, you want to come out on top. And that could be a little nerve-wracking for some people, but I just learned to just let go and let God. That, you know, heard the saying, let go, let God. And I cracked the code there. I feel like I've truly cracked the code on letting go and letting God. And once I've done that, it's like when people say the big weight has been taken off their shoulder, that's the exact same thing with me. I let God tell me, all right, it's time to go training. You know, you hear the voice in your head. That's that Holy Spirit in your head telling you what to do and what not to do. Stop being so ignorant to it and actually listen to it. And that's the thing. You know, that's what makes us human, is that we like to, our flesh itself, is that we like to reject that Holy Spirit that's trying to tell us that the better way in life, that we should be taking, the path that we should be taking, that's going to lead to our success. So, I mean, if you love God as I love God, God does everything good for those who love him. And that's, and I believe it wholeheartedly, that everything that's going to happen is going to be in my favor.
Yeah, it's liberating. It's freedom. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no stress,
freedom.
no weight. This is what's meant to be will
No,
be.
exactly. I am on a path of just straight to the top, and I'm not driving. I'm just there. Honestly, I'm just there. I'm just chilling, enjoying the ride, letting go and letting God while I just chill.
Was your faith something that you had grown up with, or was it something that
Yes.
you found? Okay, so from childhood, you've been pretty
Yeah, my
spiritual.
mom and my father, my dad is a pastor of the church, and they drilled into me. I would say drilled into me that you put God first in your life. And
Mhm.
as a child, you're listening to this and you're getting taken away from friends and going out having fun. So what do? You rebel and you go try to find your own thing. I try to find my own thing. I try to just say, man, God's not real. Everything happened. You guys are brainwashing me. This is not real. This is not how I'm supposed to be.
The
You know,
resistance, yeah.
yeah, exactly. The rebellion as a teenager, like, oh, this is not real. You guys brainwashed this. I was born into it. I see other people, they don't believe God, but theirs just as fine. And then you look down and you break it down truly, and you look at those people and they're really not fine. They don't know
Mhm.
peace. They're looking for something. And when I went back to God, I was like, oh, this is what people are actually looking for. They're looking for this deeper meaning in life that they cannot find in material, because material is forever fleeting. And when I came back to God, I realized the eternity that God gives is that you don't have to put your hope in something be that won't last forever. Put it
Yeah,
in Christ and you'll be good. And so I just meditated day and night on that. Like, how do I really make this a part of me and truly listen to it? And the Holy Spirit says, just listen. Just
yeah.
listen. You know?
Hey, some cars can run out of gas, the bank account could hit zero, but God's
Exactly.
love, eternal, right? Yeah, infinite.
Eternally. It's forever. Agape. It's forever. It's
um,
forever.
Talking about your parents, I'm curious about your roots because I believe you've got a lot of Haitian inside you, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the culture of Haiti and how that plays into
I mean,
your thought.
we're the Haiti, man. It's a strong country. It's
Hmm.
actually just too strong for its own good at this point right now. With everything going on in Haiti itself, with all the rebellion, with all the internal fighting, with all the governments playing a big part, like these governments, like America, like France, these big hands are, big bullies are actually messing it up as well. But we are the um, first first slave country
Mm.
that is freedom, and we're strong people. Our flag is so beautiful. I'm looking at the flag right now. Our country it's beautiful when it's underneath all the crime, all the ugly, all the bad right now that's going on. It and other countries know that. The big countries know that, and that's why they keep us down. I truly believe that. But one day we will be liberated again, and I hope that I can be a beacon or some type of motivator for our people to realize that there's more to life, and that we can look toward a better future. And that's one thing I actually truly want to do one day in my life, is go back to Haiti and open up orphanages and trade schools and martial arts studios, because there's so much untapped talent and untapped potential in Haiti, like any other country as well. But I think Haiti has the drive and the resilience to know that we can be at the top again
You've been
once someone finds.
you've been a fantastic ambassador so far, and
Yeah.
I look forward to those future
Thank
plans.
you so much, brother.
A quick question: the moniker, right? The silverback, right? Denotes the aggressive approach you have. Where does this name come from?
So a dream, honestly.
Hmm.
So I had a dream one day, and I was like, so in the beginning, I'm constantly praying to God, like, what should I do? What should I be? And just getting into fighting was actually just the craziest thing. I asked God, like, who am I? What should I be? And one day I had this dream. It was pretty lucid that I was walking. There's more to it, but where I got my nickname was I was walking, and I was walking down the street with a silverback and albino silverback, and I was in between them. And I felt like these guys were my guardian angels. And I was like, I'm a part of this crew. I'm a part of this clique. I'm the silverback. And that's, yeah.
I
And
love
so
it,
I felt
man.
like, yeah, I'm the silverback. I woke up and I'm like, that's me. I'm the silverback. And I like to, I walk in the cage and I stand tall. I beat on my chest. I smash my opponents because I'm that guy. I'm that silverback. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Embodying that energy. I love it.
Yes.
Are there other people, right? Because I feel like a lot of faith-based individuals have unique views on combat sports and martial arts in general. Has there ever been like any resistance from the congregation where they're like, "Oh, you do what for a living?"
Yeah, I mean, I had one friend who now is like one of my biggest fans. He had honestly he started off, and I feel like those who have resistance are those who are new to faith,
Hmm.
who have just been set on fire and that and think that God is truly just all loving. Yes, he's all loving, but that's not all he has to himself, you know. There's God is not how should I say, a pacifist.
Yeah.
God is not a pacifist, or Jesus is not a pacifist. He's not going to just let you run through. He's going to let you do your thing, but he's not going to just let you do just run through things. Let's think of the Israelites and how many times God gave them victory over their enemies. You know, God is just not going to just tell me if I'm and at the same point before I keep going, it's not like I'm bullying somebody.
Right.
We're agreeing. We're both, and at the end of the day,
Mutual combat.
it's
Yeah.
mutual. Yeah, we're both saying, let's have a great day. Let's have a respected fight. We both put a lot of work into this. Let's have a great fight, and whoever comes out on top comes out on top. All blessings to the best man. You know, at the end
Mhm.
of the day. But at the same time, I think God will give us victory in these battles. How many times in the Bible do you see people going through battles and coming out on top, or even just losing those battles, but God saying that he would have their back? So I wouldn't say the Bible itself is just full of victories and losses and battles and blood and crazy and love
Yeah.
and justice and injustice at the same time that we would think is injustice. But don't think the Bible is just a love, just only a love book. It is a good love
Right.
story. It's a love story, but it's not just a all loving book. You know, if you understand what I'm trying to say, all
Yeah.
peace and pacifistic book.
Well, I mean, what Moses liberating the Jews in Egypt, right? That whole
Yeah,
saga. I mean, that
yeah.
wasn't peaceful. That
No,
was.
and then there goes King David when he took the head off of Goliath. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like that's not peaceful at all as well. So let's not put God in a pacifistic area or
Sandbox and have him
yes,
purely
and
be, yeah,
exactly. No,
defined by that.
that's not God.
I love it.
That's
I
not God.
like that. I really love how future focused you seem. I'm curious when you look at or think about your destiny, right? Where are you led to? What are the big goals that you want to check in your combat sports career?
And combat sports, I've been saying this since I first started, and I truly mean it. Is that I want to be known as one of the best to have ever done it. I
Mm,
truly want to be like on a different level. Like when Thad fights, oh, he is on a different level. He has the it factor. And then when people see that, I want people to see that I got it through Christ and just understanding and just listening. And then I hope when people realize that, they start coming more closer into their faith or just trying to figure out who God is. So honestly, this is truly just a platform to glorify God's name. But if I'm going to do that to glorify God's name, I got to make sure I get to the highest standard of this
yeah.
game, and I definitely will. So I'm definitely trying to be known as the greatest to have done it or to ever do it.
Yeah, I like it. I will
True.
say a somewhat maybe negative question. This
Go
year,
ahead.
2025, there's been 21 plus fighters that have lost the undefeated record. When you
Mhm.
see all these other fighters losing their undefeated record, do you
Yeah.
go, "Oh, I got to be more protective of mine"?
No, I mean, like, yeah, you people are gonna people if people start sipping on their own Kool-Aid or
Yeah.
you know what I mean by that. It's like, yeah, you're undefeated, but people are watching you.
Mhm.
Don't take that for granted. Yeah, you're undefeated. People are watching you. I'm watching me. I see myself win, and I go back and I watch my fights, and I'm saying, Thad, how can I beat Thad, future Thad? How can I beat that guy? You know,
Mhm.
how can I beat me, and how can I improve myself so that those holes that I see in myself can get fixed? And then once I fix those holes, I improve on everything else that I have within my game, within my arsenal. And yes, I don't have 20 fights, I don't have 30 fights, but I have the IQ and I have the humbleness and the work ethic to make sure that that gap is or that bridge, that gap is closed, when it comes to stepping into the cage with someone like Jason Jackson with 20 plus fights. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me who steps into that cage. I know I worked harder or worked just as hard as you. And if you're not within the same mindset of as first that God is on your side, then right there, I feel like you're not touching me. Doesn't matter who you are, you're not touching me. And I mean that completely and wholeheartedly. You will not touch me. And I'm gonna make sure that I beat it into you that you got to put God first too.
Yeah.
Like make sure that when you're in this and you're wanting to come take my record, that you're actually putting in the work to actually take my record. You know what I mean? Take my be the first one on me, or whatever you want it to be. So it's making sure that you work harder than me, you're meditating harder than me, you're studying harder than me, and you're just more hungrier than I am. Because it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Every time I get a win, I don't look at the win as, okay, I'm good, I'm there now. No, this next fight is my most important fight. Every time I have a fight, it's my most important fight. I tell my friends this every single time. Oh, Thad, how do you feel about this fight? It's my most important fight. I got to go
Yeah.
train. I'm waking up 2 o'clock in the morning because I feel like I didn't train hard enough. I'm going jogging. I'm going shadow boxing. I'm not going out. I'm going out, but I'm not going out to have parties. I'm going out just hanging out, going home early so I can go jog, go
Yeah.
run. Let me go train. Let me go watch. Let me go look at Jason Jackson. Let me go study him. I'm constantly ready for anyone who thinks that they can take my O. That's why I'm never going to be scared about it or
Damn,
worried.
damn near impossible to outwork. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
kind of what it
exactly.
boils down to.
That's it. That's it. And be smart about when you're training hard too. Be smart about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like you see so many gyms where it's just hard sparring Monday through Friday, and you're like,
No,
that's
heck no.
not constructive. Yeah.
It's not good. You're a human. I mean, like, how
Mm.
many times you're gonna put your Ferrari on the racetrack before that Ferrari's in the trash dump? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or just a collector's car at that point, or becomes a
exactly.
collector's car. So just got to be smart with how you could take care of your body.
Second to last question I got for you, Thad. We've got a mutual friend in Ian Parker, and I believe you shouted him out
Boy,
inside the cage. What was get
yeah.
to the root of this, man? You and Ian, how
Man,
did that?
Ian is
Yeah,
great, man. Ian has been training one-on-ones first with our head coach Daniel Mendez. And him coming in at the end, he's been watching me train, seeing how hard I've been working and seeing how good I am. And he's seen me since the beginning of the PFL the Challenger Series, and he's just realized that, hey, man, this kid has what he got. He has that egg factor. He has that charisma that people will like, and I think that this guy needs next. And he's been telling me, hey, man, when are you going to get in the tournament? Are you talking to your management? I got to talk for you. I'm going to say something. I'm going to put in a good word for you. And Ian is just great. He's such a great guy. As in, like, he completely. I feel like he has faith in or he believes in what I
yeah,
have, when I have, and believes that I can make it will make it to the top. And
absolutely.
things like that, and people like that, I won't take their belief for granted and be like disrespected by not working as hard as I can. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You got to work hard when people are, and this is Silverback Nation. They wholeheartedly believe in me too. I got so many people flying out to Nashville, Tennessee, and it's so like, dang, you could be doing anything on a Thursday. It's not a weekend. You're taking off of work to fly out to Nashville, Tennessee to come watch me fight because you believe in what I have. So I have to make sure I'm working as hard as I can so that I'm not disrespecting your belief.
I love it. I love it. The masses are coming out for the main event. How does
Yeah,
that feel, man? First time, final fight of
yeah.
the night for
Oh, sorry.
PFL. You're good. You're good. Big. I mean, that's got to feel great going from the
Yeah.
prelims of
Oh man.
Muhammad to all the way to the main event.
Oh, it's a blessing. Honestly, I was just talking to my friends about like, oh, I just want to be on the main card. I'm tired of, I just want to be on the main card. I'm tired of coming to these fights and I'm the first or second guy out. And
Yeah.
I have the Silverback Nation just screaming my name and just waiting for me to come out, and they come out right away. Oh, that's not as suspicious as I
Yeah,
want
it's
to do, you know?
anticlimactic.
I'm like, oh, there he goes. He's already coming up. So I'm like, finally I got to the main card. No, bump the main card, brother. You're the main
Yeah.
event, right?
Yeah.
That's how God works. God's plan. God's
It's
plan.
all coming together, man. Prayers answered.
Exactly. That's it, man. I'm honestly, I so blessed. I'm so grateful. And honestly, I'm grateful to Jason Jackson because if it wasn't Jason Jackson on the other side of this main event, I don't think it would be as big as it is. He has a
Yeah.
great name. So I am grateful to Jason Jackson for his name and for what he has done in the past. But like everyone, he's gonna have to he's gonna have to hand me the torch, and I'm gonna hand him his flowers because I am grateful. But I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna go to the next level.
I love it. Thad, what's your last message for Jason Jackson here on Combat Zone?
Like I said, thank you. I'm gonna say it every time, thank you. But brother, this is not gonna be the fight that you think is gonna go the same. Unless you think it's gonna go my way, it's not gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. It's you're gonna come into this fight, and I hope you have a game plan that is ready to take out a soldier of God, because if that's not what it is, it's not going to be what you think it is. And I'm excited. This is going to be my main event, and this is going to be the last main event that you're on if I'm on the card. Let's go, baby.
I love it. The unbeaten phenom, the Silverback, Thad
Baby.
main eventing June 12th. You cannot miss it. PFL squaring off with Jason Jackson. Thad, thank you so much for the time, sir. And I can't
Thank
wait
you
to
so
tune
much
in.
for having me on, brother. Thank you. This is awesome. This is my favorite interviews, honestly. I love that.
Oh, man. I appreciate
the
that.
faith-based questions, honestly.
Always, brother. Always. Well, hey,
Thanks,
best of luck, man. And we'll chat soon.
God bless you. Thank you, Ben.
Massive thank you to PFL main eventer Thad. Best of luck for his continued success in the welterweight tournament. More here on Combat Zone. We've got the past cash and the penny parlay coming up next. Folks, welcome back to the Combat Zone. Now, two segments I love more than any of them, the past cash and the penny parlay. Now, if you're the sharpest UFC 316 bettor of all time, you might have had a parlay hit that looks something like this. Now, Marab by submission, plus 2,000. Kayla by sub, plus 800. Kevin Holland by sub, plus 800. Pfeiffer by decision, plus 500. And Mario Bautista by decision, plus 500. All this crunched out to $1, winning you $680,000. $100 would have paid out $68 million. All you needed was to pick the main card correctly, and you would have a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom mansion in Aruba by next month. So if you were one of the lucky UFC 316 bettors, let us know. Drop your slips. Would love to see them. All right, the penny parlay for UFC Atlanta is a little bit out there, but I have faith and I will explain. Kamaru Usman by knockout. Now, he's got 9 wins by KO in his career. Buckley has 4 losses by KO. All of his UFC defeats, I believe, have come by way of knockout. And I just think that while Usman's older, right, and he's been quite inactive, hasn't won since 2021, there is a couple tools I think that are going to frustrate Buckley. The jab from Kamaru Usman and the right hand. I think that cross is beautiful. I think that stiff piston-like jab is going to frustrate the wild and loopy Buckley en route to a KO defeat. That is currently lined at plus 300. Next up, we go to the co-main event. I think that Rose Namajunas is going to win by decision. I love Miranda Maverick. She makes pickles. I think that that's awesome. But I just think Rose is just too skilled. So let's take her by decision plus 180. Now, the real crazy one here is going to be Cody Garbrandt. You're damn right. I'm picking Cody Garbrandt, and I'm picking him by knockout. He's got 11 wins by KO in his 14 victories. 4 losses by KO. Cody's been cracked. We've seen it. But I just can't stop thinking about that fight that Raoni Barcelos had with Umar Nurmagomedov, where he was put out by a left hook. And I just have this inkling. I just have this cosmic feeling. There's something above that's telling me that Cody Garbrandt will find the shot to stop Raoni Barcelos. That's currently lined at plus 250. You put it all together, $1 cranks out $38. And if you put $100 on that parlay, you're walking away with $3.8 million. Make sure you get all of the action on Bally's Sportsbook, Past Cash, the penny parlays. Now it's about time that we take it to another fantastic segment here on Combat Zone. Notch Your Night. Fighters that wanted to win, but unfortunately had some tough evenings at the office. Let's take it to Not Your Night.
Not Your Night.
Winning, losing, all part of the game, but walking to the cage is what counts. Shout out to those fighters and not your night. Maybe their next fight it will be. Big thank you to everybody who tuned into this episode of Combat Zone. It was great to chat with Thad Gene, the Silverback, main eventing PFL this weekend, and some good breakdowns on UFC 316, UFC BJJ, and once again, we truly hope that Ben Askren battles through this case of pneumonia and comes out on the other side healthy. Thank you again. I've been Ben the Bane Davis for Bally's and Stadium. We'll catch you next time here on Combat Zone.